We are live.
I don't have a lot of rules on this program. In fact, I'd go as far as to say I have none. Have I ever mandated a rule on this show?
I'm not wearing pants.
That's how crazy we get with no rules. Well, today that's over. I'm instituting my first rule on this program. It's specific to Craig, but it'll go whoever his replacement is. Anyone in the Craig Acone seat. This will be a new mandate on the program. If you're ever so lucky as to converse with Kirk Minihane on air again, you address him as Mr. Minihane. You don't call him Kirky. You don't call him Buddy. Because thank God he seemed to not even notice it or just not care to talk to you any longer.
I mean, it was blatantly a joke.
But when I heard you, Kirky Buddy, I thought, oh God, now I'm gonna have to defend this asshole. And then here's where you should really feel bad. All the times I've had to go on KMS and defend you as staunchly as I do.
I'm waiting for that to happen.
You should feel some remorse for the spot you've put me in every time I have to take these bullets for you.
Yeah. Well, I think it was fine because I was clearly joking.
I understand, but I did clutch my chest when I heard it.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
I'm sure the defense will be great and grand as usual.
It always is. I always put up a fight for you, but there's only so much I can do.
I think the last time you were like, yeah, but like, who would I honestly get to
It's a fair question.
Have him do this show. Who would make remote recordings sound like we're in the same room? That's what you said, right?
That's right. Yes. Crisp, perfect audio.
Yeah, no, if I was like, yeah, Kirky Bud, listen.
Oh, God. That's how it felt. And luckily, he took it in stride.
Because it was blatantly a fucking joke.
I didn't care for it. I didn't.
You need some CBD or something.
Maybe I'm too high strung. But Craig's mix of incompetence and arrogance will be a theme of the show that we'll weave in and out of today. But Kirk, if you missed it, Kirk was on with. Was he just on to talk about the Brady thing? Is that why Gerry wanted him on?
He came on to talk about Brady, and then he stayed on for like an hour, and they talked about just about everything. It was honestly as close to a K&C reunion as I've heard thus far.
Yeah, because I know the clip that they were ripping on you for was, or Gerry was ripping on you for,
yeah,
was what is that? What is the context of that? Vin Scully died, folks. Spoiler alert. And Gerry wanted Craig to play some clip. What is the context of that where Vin Scully is singing?
He did a cover of "Wind Beneath My Wings," and there was two options.
Yeah.
There was the video of him standing with his wife as they played it over the loudspeakers at Dodger Stadium, but the sound quality wasn't great, or just the recording. And I asked before the show, I go, which one do you want? And he said, just the song.
Right.
So that was the second debacle. The first one was me not getting the vague intro to
I didn't even know if I gotta say I agree with Gerry on that one. I understand where the Gerry man is coming from. And it's not even a fault. It's kind of like you were at the first Wilbur show, right?
Yes.
You know the Callahan thing at the beginning where Kirk was like, what the fuck are you doing with the Julie DiCaro video?
Yep.
There's a thing, and I don't even know if it's a learned thing. It's just a chemistry you have with someone where you want someone that can, know exactly where you're going. So I can understand what Gerry was thinking there, where he thought you guys were on the same page, and apparently you weren't.
Here I am confidently playing this clip. I'm like, I know exactly what Gerry wants right
now.
Were
you feeling it because Kirk was there? Or do you always give Gerry that much guff? You had some toot on you.
If he gives me guff, I usually give it back.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh no, but so what's not the context of you playing it, but what is the context of Vin Scully singing that song?
I have no fucking clue, but apparently him and Kirk used to make fun of it.
Yeah, so if I remember, I was trying to remember them talking about it back in the day. And maybe I've just put this context around it, but I thought he sung it like as his retirement ceremony.
It was played at his retirement ceremony. If he wasn't actually singing it, I don't think. I have I can pull it. Not that you'll be able to.
I'll play it for the folks.
Yeah. Let me pull that up.
But is the implication that he's saying that he is the wind beneath his own wings?
I don't know. It's the weirdest thing because he's literally standing there with his wife. And it looks like he's trying to mouth the words, but it's not working.
Right. Poor Vin Scully.
Let me.
He only made it to 109. How old was he?
94.
That's too long.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's definitely even like they were talking about Bill Russell too. 88, 94. Sign me up for either.
88's a wild run for a guy that tall, as I've said. But here's my thing with Vin Scully dying. I feel how I think like true comic book nerds feel. You know, like a kid that genuinely grew up reading Spider-Man because he felt like a lonely weirdo and he related to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those guys must feel when, you know, Chris Hemsworth is doing an interview saying, "Oh, I grew up on Captain America," or whatever the fuck he plays. You know what I mean? Like when the now like superhero movies are for like frat bros rather than what it was originally for them. That's how I feel when I see like people, you know, 25-year-olds on Twitter that have never watched a baseball game saying like, I'm gonna miss Vin Scully. Vin Scully is everything. When it's like, hey, I'm out here making Vern Lundquist references that'll make your head spin. You're not a real broadcasting aficionado.
I mean, I've maybe it's because I'm in Boston, but I think Gil Santos is probably the closest I've ever been to. Oh my God, I love this broadcast.
Greatest voice of all time.
Oh, it was so great. But like I when he left, I wasn't like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do now?
No, when Tommy Heinsohn was probably my favorite Boston analyst of any kind.
Oh yeah, he was off.
When he died, it was sad, but he was in his fucking 80s or something.
And he was a giant man. When I was doing security at the Boston Garden in like 2011 or whatever it was, he would walk by and it just looked painful.
Yeah.
Like everything about it looked painful.
Well, we'll get to someone who is really not coping with the death of, or I guess they are coping. Maybe a therapist would say they are coping with the death well. But someone who's really dealing with a lot on her plate over Vin Scully's death. But first, let me hear this song that you were talking about.
Yeah. This is the it's not as good quality. It's the one with the video attached.
Okay.
This is Vin Scully singing, by the way. It just keeps cutting to the crowd.
Why? The look on the crowd's faces should be bewilderment.
They're jazzed up.
I use this point of reference all the time, but it's like...
Oh, we got players hugging on the field. Sorry.
If you were explaining this to someone, you'd think it was just a bizarre dream that they had. Like, yeah, I went to a Dodgers game. Vin Scully sang "Wind Beneath My Wings."
Yeah. He's just standing there with his wife, doing nothing, just looking at the stadium.
Why is he the one singing? Shouldn't it be? They should have gotten, Bette Midler or something.
I have no idea. He's trying to sing along. It's not going well.
All right, we gotta hear the chorus at least. He's talking to himself, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the Dodgers fans are his hero?
I have no idea, but it reads like maybe his wife is his hero, possibly.
The wind beneath my wings. So long, Vinny. Rest in power, old friend.
Had a good run.
Wild time. Let's hear it once more for Vin Scully, everybody.
I would have applause if I was at home, but I don't.
Well, speaking of, please, no more drops. For the love of God.
By the way, you definitely owe Tim an apology. Sorry, Tom, whoever you want to call him, an apology.
No, I don't think that I do.
I think so.
Why?
You don't think that was a bit over the top?
What did I say?
Basically, he's a piece of shit, not welcome here, because he made one bad joke.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
I thought that was a bit much.
Well, first of all, I heard on Very Good Show, go to verygoodshow.org for all your Very Good Show needs.
Yes.
I heard you ask him, you said, did this ruin your weekend?
Oh, I was being sarcastic.
I felt a little over the top.
He answered it seriously. I was joking, dude.
Oh, not really. Where did you find this guy, Tom?
I've
Tim.
known him since.
Is his real name Tim? I'm not doing that on purpose.
It is Tim.
Tim. All right.
I've known him since 3rd grade.
Oh, what a bond that will never be broken.
We lived together in college.
How fun.
I got him kicked out of college by accident.
Oh, the poontang that room must have seen.
Yeah.
These two out on the prowl.
For sure. For sure.
So, if you missed it last week, folks, I do apologize. I was going to get there if Craig didn't, step all over me. Me and Gerry can have a meeting about this afterwards. About bonding, hold hands, and sob. I do apologize to Tim because I didn't realize that Craig would be so overjoyed to have a button at his fingertips that he would hit it roughly 9,000 times. I think someone did a count, and I think it was about 9,000 times, rounding down.
I hit the Asian one. I listened back because I was like, I don't think I hit it a lot, but I don't think it was like crazy amount. It was like 6 times.
It felt like it felt endless. It felt like I wasn't saying anything, and Trey Parker was hosting the show for me.
See, basically, every time we think that Mike brings a shit item on his list, which is often,
right,
play a mocking drop. It has nothing to do with the heritage that is being made fun of.
I think Mike takes too much guff on that program. He's the only man that prepares.
He does get a lot of guff, but it's also very funny when you do give him guff because he gets legit pissed.
he gets riled up. I understand.
Yeah.
So I apologize to Tim. I didn't think Craig would be. Were you hitting the what was the other one? My brother's gay or something?
Yes, Tim was.
That was you as well.
Tim, I did all of them except for
God.
The drops that you liked were Tim.
Well, as I said, I believe I tweeted at him. If Tim ever wants to replace Craig, he's in.
Yeah,
I'll recommend him to Gerry as well.
Box Eating Dad says it wasn't even the drops. It's that you said that Tim seemed like a smug asshole.
He did seem like I'll tell you this. He came at me with some blind joke. I forget what it was.
It was bad.
It was rough. And that it's like, you got plenty to make fun of me on.
Well, I learned him. He was very nervous, which was funny because he listened even before he joined our show. He listened to all your shows.
Oh, really?
That's why I found your solo episodes so funny.
Well, go to the Patreon, folks. You'll hear my real gripes with what I thought was Tim. But as I'm a man of I don't know the word I'm looking for. I'm a man of morals. I'm willing to step up and apologize, be the bigger man.
Yeah.
In this heated Mike Tim rivalry.
Kirk 5K said he skipped it based on reviews. I didn't really see much.
Yeah, you did yourself a favor. Don't worry about it.
That was a fun episode. The list was great.
It was fine. We got warmed up towards the end. All the problem with us getting warmed up is the soundboard got warmed up as well, apparently. It must have been on the fritz the first half of the show because the second half it really cranked up.
The list is always full of drops.
Sure.
And I don't think it will change necessarily.
Well, that's good. That's your show. I don't want to interrupt your flow. Some people said I interrupted the flow that a very good show has, so I don't want to do that.
I thought everyone was overreacting either direction.
I think they reacted appropriately.
Well, no, I had people that were like wicked pissed at you, like Box Eating Dad. He
was pissed at me?
Yeah. Oh, a lot of people were really mad at how you spoke about Tom.
Well, I was talking about Tom, this Tim guy I like.
Yeah, Tom's a piece of shit, but
Tim seems like a real hardworking, get up and go type of character.
Yeah. Box Eating Dad says, on behalf of the VGB/propaganda, we request an apology.
Well, I apologize to Tim, and I'll apologize to the Box. Craig, I will not ever apologize to for anything, even if I'm wrong.
I have no more room for new wounds on my back.
Oh, now that leads me to another question.
Mm-hmm.
On Twitter, Tim and I patched things up, good buddies that we are.
Yeah, because I just put my hand right up into the sky and said, it was me.
And as you should have.
Yeah.
And Mike, as some people know him, Whiskey Mike from Very Good Show, interjected with a line that I have still not decoded.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Benedict Head Arnold, which, first of all, Benedict, I feel like would have worked.
Yeah, he
Don't
was
need to add more syllables.
If you're wondering who he was talking to, it was me.
Oh, why?
Like I said, dude, he deserves all the drops he gets.
But how are you a traitor in that situation?
I don't remember the exact exchange.
You defended Tim. You said, "Hey, it was all me. I was doing the drops," and he called you Benedict Arnold or Benedickhead Arnold.
You've heard him speak. You've done plenty of Why You Laughings and other things and VGS crossovers.
Sure.
You get it. Sometimes stuff just falls out of that face of his.
Yeah, but this he had time. He looked at it and pressed tweet. He had time.
Twitter is his worst location.
Wow. Well, folks, I'm sure you can find his Twitter also at blindmike.net. It's really if you like Very Good Show, make sure you hit up blindmike.net. That's where you get all your Very Good Show needs, as well as this program. If you want to subscribe to the Patreon, get episodes early, get Why You Laughing early, get bonus stuff, get Quincy, all the wacky hijinks that we're up to on Patreon. And if you want to just support the show for free, which, by the way, I do have a tip jar on Twitter. People said they'll tip me if I stop doing this podcast. I'm pretty sure you can find that on Twitter.
Let's test that water.
Yeah, I think it just links to my Venmo, if I'm not mistaken. So feel free. If I hit a number that I feel like is right, then I'll just go away.
Yeah, and make sure you write for Craig on the memo.
Yes. Yeah, if you write that, I'll send it over to Craig. So blindmike.net, hit that up. Be a subscriber or just support the show for free, whichever you prefer, and do the same at verygoodshow.org for the Craigster.
Yes, please come join Drop Nation.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I always thought Box Eating Dad was a loyal guy. I thought he enjoyed this program.
He's very loyal.
All right, good. I hope you're not telling me otherwise.
Oh no, I meant to me. Sorry.
Ridiculous.
Erroneous.
Outrageous. I'm glad that's squared away because now we can all bond. Now that we've really had it out, we can all bond over an article or a blog written by Julie DiCaro. Now, just start reading it. Don't read the title because I want people to think, well, this obviously has nothing to do with what they were talking about before, and see how Julie DiCaro is able to shoehorn the focus of this article into her own life.
Where my confusion comes in on this article is the tweet with it has a different headline than the article title. Is that what you're referring to?
Oh, no, I just mean you haven't read it yet, have you?
No, but I
saw... Give it a read. I think you'll see pretty quickly what I'm talking about.
It came unprompted, bubbling up from somewhere pure and certain inside her. She sucks at writing. My husband and I took to asking whether she felt like a boy or a girl, or neither.
Wait. Is this the beginning of the article?
Yeah.
No, this is not right. All right, what's the title of the article you have?
Oh, shit. My fault.
Okay.
I'm reading the other article you sent. My youngest son was not.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, boy, we really leaped ahead in this kid's life.
Yeah, they're similar articles.
Okay.
My youngest son was not an easy baby. His brother, just 18 months older, was a breeze. One of those babies, so serene, so happy, so simple to care for that I assumed his demeanor was attributable to my superior mothering skills.
All right, this is how the blog starts, by the way. There's no introduction as to why she's talking about this or anything. I mean, maybe you could surmise from the headline, but the blog just starts where Julie is talking about this subject.
Oh, I have not said the headline or put it on screen yet. I thought
that's good because we'll find out what it's about. So far, her first kid was a breeze and her second kid was tough. Is that what she said?
Yep. Okay. Yep. Which is extremely common.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what mothers have to deal with.
Well, I mean, the first one's always easy because that's the sole focus of your life. The second one's tough because you have to focus on both.
You got to do this again. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
All right.
Every mother's first baby should be as easy as he was. Even as a teenager, he's an even keel as they come. My second son, though, came out of the womb screaming and no shit, and didn't stop for the first 9 months of his life. right about the time we discovered that what doctors had assured us was colic was actually painful gastric reflux.
Okay, that's again unfortunate. Not sure why she's telling us yet, but we'll
Yep.
get there.
Now I'm starting to get very confused because I know the title.
Right.
The madness finally ended when I went to see his doctor, steeled by a group of moms in my corner, and refused to leave his office without a prescription for baby Zantac. By that time, I was completely spent physically and emotionally. And when I handed my red-faced screaming child over to his pediatrician, I considered briefly making a run for it.
Oh, Julie, the Louis C.K. of our time.
there are
wait, hold on 1 second though.
Yep.
I like that she's scolding the doctor as if like she knows better.
Oh, I know.
You should be giving. Do parents do that often? Like yell at the doctor for not giving what they have deemed the correct prescription?
I have no fucking idea. I usually just go, you probably know what you're talking about.
I would think so, yeah. But Julia, I mean, she was a lawyer. I don't know how in depth in the medical field she got in college, but
yeah, not very. It seems.
I mean, she wears a lot of hats: law school, Olympic athlete,
Yep.
doctor.
Real flexible, allegedly.
Yes.
There are entire months during that time that I don't remember. I know I went days upon days without showering,
Okay.
Dropping off into shallow sleep during his infrequent cat naps. I often wondered what future damage I did to my oldest son during those months, just surviving from minute to minute rather than making sure he was physically, emotionally, and intellectually engaged at all times with baby's first electron microscope or whatever the popular toddler stimulus was at the time.
Yeah, you probably should have some regrets about neglecting one of your children for months. I can understand that.
For sure.
All right, while you're reading here, can we get some guesses in the chat? If you don't know, some of you might have seen this on Twitter already. But if you genuinely don't know what this article is about, can we get some guesses in the chat right now?
And don't cheat and look up what I've read already.
Yeah, what do you think the focus of this article is? Obviously, it's about motherhood. Her second child was a lot more difficult. Where do you think we're headed?
Yeah, nothing. Come on, throw some guesses so I continue reading. Someone's gonna ruin it and just.
Are we already at the reveal?
I don't think so.
All right, well, let's wait till we get there. Keep reading until you get to the big punchline.
Okay. I don't recall, and I'm sure I didn't know at the time. Those months were a giant blur, breastfeeding, the wiggles, and desperately praying for sleep.
She's just describing motherhood.
Right.
This was not any more unique than any other mother. It doesn't seem to me.
Kirk 5K says, I just didn't know Julie had kids. And Box Eating Dad says, kids transitioning, ?
No, you're wildly incorrect, actually.
Banana Hammock says, it's about Blippy shitting on his friend.
That's closer. It's a more sensible guess than where we're going. That would, if that came up in this article, that would make more sense to me than what we're about to read.
Yeah, if you go on verygoodshow.org, go to about 6 weeks ago, you can watch us watch that video live. It is fucking hilarious.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Justin stole from you, you're saying?
Well, I know he listens to our program, so maybe.
Wow, there's some accusations being lobbed.
I don't think so.
Podcast war.
Pew, pew, pew. Some days my husband would come home from work to find me sitting on the step with both kids in my lap because I literally could not wait the 30 seconds it would take him to walk in the door of the driveway to hand one or both over to him. That is fucking crazy.
Get him away from me.
I understand just needing to walk outside, but you can, not get the kids dressed, put shoes on just to exchange them on the front steps.
I hate these little fuckers.
All right, anyone? Here comes the reveal. So,
have we had any guesses that are remotely close?
No, I was hoping for a postnatal abortion blog from Chef Lewis. It's a pet from Kirk 5K.
No dice.
She got a puppy.
Nope.
Here comes the big reveal.
Yeah.
My story is the story of a lot of women with young children at home, but I was lucky. I had Vin Scully.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Holy fuck. Talk about wanting clicks.
Now, unless Vin Scully became Julie DiCaro's live-in nanny, then the first 2 paragraphs of this didn't make any sense.
They have nothing to do with it. All she had to say was, I had a hard time raising my kids at first, but I had Vin Scully.
Something that got me through it was listening to Dodger baseball, apparently, in Chicago.
Box Eating Dad says, you got to be fucking kidding me.
It's insane when I saw this. So this was her tribute to Vin Scully, saying that like he got her through motherhood, I guess. Let's find out how, shall we?
Banana Hammock says he was the wind beneath her wings.
Maybe that's what he was singing about. That makes a lot of sense.
Is he a hurricane? Holy fuck. Sometime around my youngest child's birth, Major League Baseball had released their version of MLB.com, which allowed fans to listen to games from anywhere in the country.
How old is Julie DiCaro?
That's a great question. Let me look that up because I do that even though I get buried for not doing it. I will look it up.
Oh, thank you. It's very good.
That's what I was saying. What was that guy's name on Why You Laughing that you couldn't find? Harry Bushkin?
Needs a lot of pats on the head. Yes, you Google things. Very good.
You guys,
good job.
I was like, did he stop listening as soon as you asked? Like literally 4 seconds later, told him the answer. Julie DiCaro age.
Yeah.
She was born. She's 49.
Wow, I thought she was younger. I don't know why, but I did.
I thought she was in like her late 30s.
Late 30s, early 40s, I would have guessed. Yeah.
Jesus.
Huh.
Wow.
A 49-year-old woman who wants to sue Justin Trudeau. That's interesting.
More people are listening to this article probably than bought the book.
She'll be in her 50s suing Justin Trudeau for reading a book on YouTube. So, all right, I'm sorry. How did so MLB.com was released, I guess.
And the games were archived, so you could go back and listen to a game that had already ended earlier in the day. There weren't a ton of
horrible.
Yeah,
that sounds brutal. Listening to an old baseball game.
There's nothing like when I was younger, I would put on the Red Sox games at night when I went to bed because there's honestly nothing better for like ambient sound, I don't think, than a baseball game.
That's fair.
Holy shit, I'm not going, oh, I can't wait to listen to this game from 4 years ago.
No, even when they abbreviate it into like 2 hours or whatever they do on Nessun, like they shorten the game. Even that, it's like it already happened. I'll just look at the score.
Yeah, the internet like really ruined like Sports Center and shit.
Highlights. Yeah.
Especially Twitter, because it's instant.
Right. So Julie DiCaro, who I'm to understand she's a Cubs fan, no?
You would think.
And works in Chicago. So during her pregnancy, she would listen to Dodgers games from yesterday, apparently.
There weren't a ton of options for entertainment when up breastfeeding a baby at 2 a.m. But every night on my computer, there sat 3 hours of audio of Vin Scully. When did this come out? Today?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no, 5 years ago, it says.
Oh, really? She tweeted it today with R.I.P. Vin Scully.
It says, by Julie DiCaro 5 years ago.
So she reposted it today as if to be like, guys, we all remember.
Oh, my God.
We all remember the great blog that I wrote. Wow, she tweeted it out today, so I just assumed she wrote it today.
I could be wrong, but it says by Julie DiCaro 5 years.
No, that makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. That does make sense.
Imagine if she wrote this today, though. Holy fuck, would she be getting buried? She probably is anyway, but
even if it's 5 years ago, I'm not above spending 20 minutes on it. So let's keep going.
I was working from home at the time. In parentheses, did I mention trying to keep 2 children and myself alive wasn't even my full-time job? ? End of parentheses.
Hold on 1 second though. She wasn't at Deadspin 5 years ago.
This is fan-sided. This isn't Deadspin.
Oh, okay, all right. Wait, read that last line again because that was pretty good.
Yeah, this is in parentheses, like she's,
Did I mention?
Step away from this article for 1 second while I tell you this little ditty. It says, did I mention trying to keep 2 children and myself alive wasn't even my full-time job?
You were a working mother
Oh my God.
in the 21st century? My God.
You must have been working real hard or have a real difficult job if you can watch your kids all day at home and
How did you do it?
just throw the kids at your husband as soon as he walks on the driveway.
You know what's hilarious is Julie, in a weird way, is advocating for women not to be in the workplace. She's basically writing an article here saying we can't handle it. It's impossible to do both. If Julie is saying if only a man went to work and collected a paycheck while the woman stayed home and cared for the children.
You know who believes in that? I don't want to tell her this, but that's like the Proud Boys' #1 message.
Yeah, this is radical feminism because it's the opposite of what every other feminist is saying.
So I saw most of the game. Here it is. My Chicago Cubs played each day while perched precariously on my couch. You have to type like that? Holy fuck. Okay. Holding my son in the exact position that would keep him from screaming. It was possibly more exhausting than being up and moving around. I don't know about that for you.
Everything she's done is the most exhausting task.
Do you guys see my plight yet?
How could a woman do an hour of radio a day and care for children? I don't know what she did back in the day, but I remember when I was like prank calling her show, she was on for like an hour at night. Maybe 2 hours. It couldn't be just an hour, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, it was the overnight spot, right?
Yeah, but it was weird because like usually overnights are usually 4 hours.
I think like 5 or 6 even.
Julie did 2 is what they trusted her for.
Box Eating Dad says, I love to make fun of it, but in a few years when I write this same article about Mike Harris, it's going to be hypocritical.
I was struggling with fatherhood. Thank God I had the list to get me through.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. Well, that's you. I think you get the gist. Unless you spot any more gems in there.
How much longer is this fucking thing?
That's only 7 or 8 pages.
It's not too much longer if you just want to fucking...
All right, sure. Let's zoom through it.
It's 3 more paragraphs.
Okay.
But at night, I would sit in front of the open window feeding my baby and let Vin's voice, his stories, his memories of baseball from a time gone by wash over me.
She needed a washing. She hasn't showered in days.
It's a lot of stories to wash over her.
Yeah, get underneath this roll stories, would you?
It got to be a ritual every night in which I could lose myself, float up out of my body, and hover somewhere in the warm window. God damn it, this fucking idiot. Chavez Ravine. Just listening to Vin and thinking about baseball. It was better than meditation. It was almost as good as sleep. I could begin to relax, feeling some of the frustration with my never quiet, never sleeping, never happy baby start to dissolve. As Vin would talk, I would unwind. Those few hours of relaxation every night recharged my soul, kept me going, and allowed me to be the mother I wanted to be the other 21 hours of the day.
I like Julie like a dad that just needs a stiff drink after a long day at the office.
Yeah.
Give me my Vin Scully. Neat.
This was written right when he retired. Judging.
Yeah, when you said 5 years ago, I figured that was the case.
This week, Vin Scully will call his last game for the Dodgers, and an era will end. And while I'll miss him in the same way other baseball fans will, I'll always have a special fondness for the man who unknowingly got me through the hardest months of my life. My son is nearly a teen now, and he still needs my attention constantly. Probably because you didn't fucking let him go, dummy.
Or probably because he didn't give him any attention when he was a kid.
He's emotional and I think she gave him way too much attention because
this is the one she cared about, not the other one.
This sounds like clingy baby syndrome. I don't even know what the real thing is, but over helicopter parent shit.
Sure.
He's emotional and sensitive and overly dramatic, but much like he was as a baby. He's also fantastically creative, ridiculously outspoken, and hysterically funny.
Hey, Jewel, what does this have to do with Vin Scully?
I wouldn't trade those months hard as they were for the world.
I mean, that's not an article about Vin Scully.
Nope.
What's the headline, if you would?
The headline, by the way, is How Vin Scully Saved My Sanity and Made Me a Better Mother.
The guy's barely mentioned in the story.
His voice his voice was calm enough that I didn't strangle my infant.
How brave am I for being a mother? And then we close with, my kid is immensely talented. By the way, Vin Scully did Dodger Cubs games.
This is one of those I don't think it happened.
I'm sure it didn't, but
especially
I believe that her ears heard Vin Scully's voice while she was raising children. That I believe.
Yeah, at some point.
I don't think it kept her from killing herself.
No, definitely not. Or the kid. It sounded like she was more into this. Literally just sounds like what it's like having a second child.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Vin Scully, she would have drowned her babies. So thank God for Vin, I suppose.
Banana Hammock says, I can admit that we had similar stress with our first daughter. I wish we had Vin Scully.
Well, hey, listen, you have Joe Castig if you're here in Boston. Throw him on.
You believe it?
What a comforting voice that would be.
Oh, God.
It's a deep drive.
What was the other guy's name?
Well, they used to have Gerry Trupiano. Who are we talking about?
Gerry Trupiano. His voice was significantly better, but
he was way better. I don't know why they pushed him out.
I know his home run call was always
awesome. Way back.
Yeah, but that would be like, oh, it's a deep drive, way back, way back. Oh, and he caught it on the warning track, like every fucking time.
Oh well, that's Sterling now. It's getting sad with John Sterling.
Well, he's not even there, right?
It's rough. I don't think he's doing road games anymore.
It seems like he's just reacting to the cameras, which always make things look like a home run, and then they're
right.
second baseman.
Yeah, you know what? I'll write an article like that when Vin Scully dies. I mean, I'm sorry, when Vin Scully dies. When John Sterling dies.
Yeah. I hope she reposts this exact same thing, but changes the name to John Sterling.
I was dealing with Craig. I hardly paid Matt from Rhode Island any attention.
Well, no, he would be the problem. I was the firstborn.
Oh, God. Well, rest in peace, Vin Scully. We all miss you. It's very sad that a man in his 90s died.
I couldn't believe it. I can't believe it.
By the way, guys like I think Bob Barker's still alive.
Is he?
Am I right about that? Or has he died?
Let me Google it.
Look it up. I know Norman Lear's alive.
He's 98. He's 98 years old, Bob Barker.
I don't think it's a Norman Lear type of 98. I've heard some grim stories.
Oh, no. He looks like a skeleton already.
Yeah.
He's decomposing while still breathing, it appears.
Yeah. He's neutering animals, just going to his neighbors' houses.
I'll pull up the picture for the people watching along here. It is scary. I warning in advance. Here he is. Yeah, it's not good.
You know, Bob Barker got me through a lot of fake sick days when I would stay home from school.
Oh, yeah, he used to be the best.
I don't know how I handled it, but I did. I made it through.
He's a guy that my entire life has been significantly old.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, 30 years ago, he was in his 60s.
True. That's a great point. Great point.
All right. Going from one self-aware nut job to another. Brendan Schaub had UFC fighter Michael Chandler on. Do you know much about him?
Just the name. He's pretty good.
So I went because I didn't want to jump the gun. I didn't want to assume anything about Michael Chandler. He adopted children, and I went and listened to a little bit of the podcast just to clarify. And he did say, in fact, that at least one of the kids, and I think both based on later context, but he said one of them is African-American, very dark-skinned, and said looks nothing like him. So he adopted an African-American child. And, you know, these kids otherwise may not have had a great upbringing. So they're talking about Michael Chandler kind of, you know, maybe in a way saving these kids' lives. And he's saying that they sort of saved him as well. They gave him an opportunity to be a father. And, you know, he's talking about how much he has grown from that experience and how much, his life is full now, whereas it wasn't before. And he's talking about the kind of this beautiful thing in his life, which prompted Brendan Schaub to ask this question.
Yeah, this. Do you know, by the way, if he was extremely high or drunk for this?
No, I don't think he was either.
It wouldn't have helped. It would have helped a little.
Well, let's hear it.
Same highs, same lows, same everything.
Now let me ask you this: is it like that movie Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey and the three black kids? Do they know like you're not their actual father?
Yeah.
Like,
He is.
Why would you ask that, Brendan?
Did you hear him? Yes.
Yeah, they figured it out.
When you sent that to me, I was like, oh, what's this?
The guy. So I went to listen to the full context because I wanted to make sure I wasn't jumping the gun or anything. He just got done explaining that the kid, he said, he looks nothing like me. He's very dark skinned. So he's talking about how obvious it is that he's not his biological father, or as Brendan so gracefully put it, not your real kid. Which, I mean, there's also a thing of like, you can get into words and how strict you want to be on definitions and things, but he's their father. He's raising them.
Do they know that they're adopted is the question.
Yeah, like the kid's gonna be fucking 15. Like, boy, I guess I look more like mom.
Do they know you're not their dad?
Brendan, you moron. Let me hear that again.
That was maybe. Oh, I minimized it. Hold on. That was maybe the worst fucking thing I've ever heard from him.
Yeah. Now let me set it up. My son, very dark skinned, looks nothing like me. African American. Brendan Schaub. Any follow ups?
Same highs, same lows, same everything.
now let me ask you this: is it like that movie Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey and the three black kids? Do they know like you're not their actual father?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, like that Fairley Brothers comedy. Is it like that when Anthony Anderson played a stereotype? And the joke was, how could they not know they're not his kids?
I love Me, Myself, and Irene.
It's a pretty funny movie.
When Jim Carrey goes up to the lesbians in the diner and he just goes, "How's it hanging, fellas?" It's maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I feel like that's an example of a movie where without Jim Carrey it wouldn't have worked.
No, he was.
You know what I mean? Like that's him carrying a movie, I think.
Oh, for sure. But because like even with when he breaks his nose and it's just whistling as he's talking because it's the air going through it.
Yeah.
Like it's just the way it wouldn't have worked with anyone else.
You could also not make that now. The idea of his wife fucking a little person who's African American, and the whole joke is. By the way, the whole joke with like Anthony Anderson and like his sons, it's like, wouldn't it be crazy if these black people who are smart? Like that's essentially the entire joke that the Fairley brothers are making.
They can fly a helicopter.
Who would have thought?
It would be like reverse now though, like I don't know, Damon Wayans would play the Jim Carrey role or something,
Right? And they'd have some like frat boy douchebags as kids,
or they would have like dumb idiot white kids.
Right.
Just to complete opposite.
You know what's great about that clip though? That's something you could easily hear me saying on KMS. Like I'm sure everyone listening is thinking right now, like I could see Mike saying something like that. But what Brendan lacks that I think someone like him absolutely needs is that would result in 20 minutes of busting on me, or if Callahan did it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it would become a funny, 10-minute riff or whatever.
No one is that stupid.
But no one in Brendan's life will do that. You know what I mean? Like Brendan needs to do a show. If Brendan just did a show with fucking, Tim Dillon and Louis J. Gomez, guys that would bust his balls, then he would become the hero of the internet. Like if Brendan embraced how dumb and goofy he is, he wouldn't seem so dumb and goofy.
Was this live?
I don't think so, because I think they like changed locations.
He has no producer that has his back then, apparently.
I mean, it's a question off the cuff, whatever. Maybe he was trying to be funny or something. But it's just if Brendan Schaub did all the podcasts that make fun of him and goofed around with them, like if he had any self-awareness, then he wouldn't seem so dumb. You know what I mean? Like I do believe that if pick your podcast. If Rogan asked Michael Chandler that, I don't think we'd be playing it to make fun of.
Well,
because there's just something about Brendan Schaub where you're like, dude, how do you not?
There would have been significant lead up and follow up. Not just do your kids know you're not their dad?
Yeah, or Rogan even would have, or whoever would have realized, oh, I said that like a fucking idiot, and maybe even made fun of themselves. Brendan has none of that.
It was immediate reaction from listening to that clip. So like someone in that room must have noticed how dumb that question was.
Well, yeah, he just doesn't have like Callahan and D'Elia and these guys that he does podcasts with. Their ultimate goal is looking cool, so they're never going to tell him that he sounds like a fucking idiot because they want to do a show with a cool guy. They all care about looking cool, which is very detrimental to comedy.
I don't think Schaub has a way out.
Well, I just told you what it is. Go on all these podcasts that goof on you and be part of the joke.
Yeah, that would have been great 2 years ago. I don't think he has.
I think he can still do it. And here's the thing that he doesn't realize is like, yeah, sure, looking, and you know what? We criticize him, but he's built a brand for himself. He's successful at it. I don't care for the product he puts out there, but he makes good money. But think of how many more of those dumb thick boy shirts would be sold if he was kind of in on the joke a little bit.
He should go on like, especially like thick boy, like Matt and Shane's show or something.
Goof around with those guys, yeah.
Fuck around, call himself an idiot, and all the fat fans of that show will buy.
They're all wearing thick boy shirts, yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want that. He wants to market it to cool people, the guys he considers cool. And I heard him on Are You Garbage? He doesn't seem like a bad guy. He just lacks self-awareness, which I think Brendan would be extremely likable if he knew how dumb he was. Like the fact that he has a bit that we've talked about 10 million times where he's doing a stereotypical Asian accent of a real guy who speaks perfect English. That should be a classic episode of The Fighter and the Kid where they mock him relentlessly for that. But it doesn't exist because he won't acknowledge it.
It just took everything in me not to hit a certain drop there to be funny.
Well, then that's when you should have. God damn it.
I could feel it in my finger burning.
That's when you should have. All right. Well, I want to get to some people had questions for us, but first let's play one more wacky news drop if we could. I wish I could have found a better version of this, but everyone's talking inflation. So this is just from TikTok or something where Barstool Sports tweeted it. Based on the sound, I'm guessing it's from TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's just a Houston news anchor. I wish I could find a better version and a longer version because I'd like to hear the full context. But this is what he has to say about inflation.
Only Houston news.
Inflation continues to bitch slap the American family. At the dinner table, Houston has one.
Inflation continues to bitch slap the American public. If anyone thinks there's an ounce of professionalism left in journalism.
The straight face in which he says that with is so funny.
He's fired up. I wonder if that's a Ron Burgundy situation. Like, did someone throw that in the teleprompter and he just read it?
Do you think he's going to say it?
Let's say they bitch slapped the American public.
Do you think he'll do it?
That has to be, right? Why would he say that? I
have no idea.
I haven't seen that anywhere. I saw Barstool tweet it out. I couldn't find it anywhere else. So no one's talking about it. I don't know if the guy got in trouble or anything. I hope not, because he's a gem.
Oh yeah. I need him forever.
I want his serious newscast for every ridiculous story. Julie DiCaro bitching about being a mother today.
Houston residents getting butt fucked by gas prices.
Exactly. That's the type of spice we need in our newscast.
I would never miss the news.
You want to beat Rogan, CNN? Hire this guy.
Pay him everything you have.
Inflation is bitch slapping the American public. Imagine Walter Cronkite saying that. Fucking Tom Brokaw.
Mobile going in with no lube today. I just realized, by the way, how much people on the other side of the glass can hear me speaking.
The Ukraine's still getting dick down.
Ukraine making America hold its pocket while it needs more aid.
Oh, God. That's good stuff. All right. Let's get to these. Do we have any good questions from the patrons?
I have not read them yet.
Oh,
I see that you answered one. Do you want me to just ignore that one? Better Call Saul one?
what was it?
Thoughts on Better Call Saul? Would you love an episode breakdown of the finale?
Oh, I the part that I answered was that I will do a preview for the next 2 episodes and a recap of the last episode as well, probably. I should have been doing that all season. Next time I'm into a show, I will do that, like Succession or something. We'll do some sort of a recap. But yeah, so I talked about this on the Patreon the other day, but we are bordering, and we're not in a place where I can tell if it's recency bias or not yet, because I'm also loving Better Call Saul. But you're starting to hear, oh, Better Call Saul's better than Breaking Bad.
Oh, shut
which
up.
I think is simply because of we're watching it now. We're in it,
I've watched most of the first season and then I forgot to continue, and I was just like, I'm just gonna wait for it to end and then I'll watch it all.
Yeah. I think you could certainly argue that Better Call Saul is more grounded and better character development and everything.
Mhm.
There are a lot more episodes of Better Call Saul that you're like, okay, this was kind of a filler episode,
So I only remember one episode from Breaking Bad,
The Fly.
Fly, but I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't hate that episode.
No, neither did I. A lot of people really hate it. I always say it's the one episode, if you're doing a rewatch or something, you can skip it.
Basically, all you need to know is that's the episode where Walter realizes how much he's lost his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. But I think there's a lot of those in Saul, where you're kind of not killing time, but it's like almost the writers jerking their dicks, where it's like, wow, that's a really well-written episode, but it doesn't move the storyline at all,
Well, I hope they're good at character development, because basically it's all a setup for Breaking Bad, isn't it?
Yeah. No, they do an amazing job.
I think you think Walter's going to make an appearance in the last
He
two
did.
episodes? Oh, really?
He did last Monday night, yeah.
Was it awesome?
He and Jesse. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, it was in a way where it's like, I mean, they didn't need that, so there's probably a little bit of just like, servicing the fans.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they did it was well done. It's not like, Saul is thinking about getting into teaching and he stops by the high school. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they did it in a way that makes sense.
That's good.
Yeah.
First question: whose dick would you suck for the least amount of money, Justin, Dave, or Kirk?
That's interesting.
You really don't like the prison cocktail, huh?
No.
You do a shot. If someone put a shot of that in front of me, I would drink it for that much money.
Oh God.
It's one day of hell.
It just
at most.
disgusts me so much. No, it's not. That could lead to real illnesses, which is what everyone was ignoring.
Well, how long do you got to keep it down? Then you just go make yourself puke after.
Oh God.
Add to the cocktail.
My answer would be whoever seemed like they wanted it the most. I don't want to put anyone in an uncomfortable.
Well, because it'll take the least amount of time.
That's true. Yeah.
I really want this. Okay, you're
All right. You're up, partner.
Would you let Louis C.K. jerk off in front of you for $100,000?
Ha ha ha! Yes, absolutely, I would.
But Ryan commented on that and said, after the crypto crash, I don't think Mike could afford to pay that much.
That's funny.
Which is funny.
That's funny. But wait, I should have said this at the top of the show. Pretty hilarious. I think I'm not getting as much shit as I should because I acknowledged it right after the argument was done. but pretty hilarious that I yelled, "I never said that," and it was something I said like 30 seconds before.
Oh, during the Louis battle?
Yeah, I just forgot that I said it. Once I heard it, I was like, "Oh, okay, I get the context of what I was trying to say." But yeah, I just forgot that I said. I was like, "No, Dave said it."
I think I missed something. Like I don't know if I like spaced for a second because all of a sudden that thing was just a screaming match.
It got out of hand real quick, which is why I like Kirk's obviously very good at that stuff.
Mhm.
And I am not. I'm not a confrontational guy. But at one point, I was like, "Are you mad?" Because I like almost forget it's a show, and it's like, "Oh, you're having the argument, so be in the argument." I was like, "What? Why is this? How did this get here so fast?"
Because I knew what you were trying to say. I agree with you. I think like 98% of it.
Yeah, I think I don't think I did the best job articulating my point, but I think the people that know what I was trying to say understood it, and the people that don't never will. You know what I mean?
I would say even calling him a predator of any kind, I think, is strong.
Yeah. Well, so what I don't want to get into it again, but
For me, it
I'm
ends.
screaming at Craig now.
Yeah. For me, it ends at the yes/no question.
Right, which is what I should have said. Someone pointed this out to me on Twitter because I made this point on Why You Laughing when I said like, well, how many times are you supposed to confirm?
Right.
So that I should have thrown that in there, but put it this way, I don't think I was going to come up with anything that Kirk couldn't immediately argue.
Oh, right. Favorite girlfriend on Seinfeld of Gerry's on Seinfeld.
Ooh, that's a great. Who asked that?
Cameo Blind Mike,
That's a very good question.
who was debating changing his name to Cameo Whiskey Mike after this drop.
What?
Yeah.
Outrageous. He's not even on Cameo. Favorite of Gerry's girlfriends. I mean, obviously, we're not counting Elaine.
No, I'm going with Terry Hatcher. Pretty simply.
Terry Hatcher's a good one. I love the Lori Loughlin episode
Mm-hmm.
where she gets him to be emotional.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a very good one.
Well, they're real and they're spectacular is like an all-time line too.
And then The Voice is another great. Hello.
Or Mulva was good.
Mulva, of course, yeah. Now we're just naming ones we can remember, but
Well, yeah.
but yeah, I'll go with who did I just say? God damn it.
Lori Loughlin.
Lori Loughlin, yeah.
I'm going with Terry Hatcher. She that was her prime too. She was dynamite. If you're not completely 100% blind, I feel like this is an easy question to answer. But anyway, I'll read it. How come you wear sunglasses? Wouldn't it just make it more difficult to see?
Well, I mean, I wear them on screen just because my eyes are fucked up. I'm self-conscious about it.
You ever go from a real dark place to a real bright place, Michael? Not
yeah,
you.
Oh, that too. He's asking like in life, why do I wear sunglasses?
Yeah.
I can still see the sun still affects my eyes.
More than everyone's.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know.
Yeah, it does help it like walking into a building, like it definitely helps adjust.
I feel like you got to preserve what's left too, you know.
Yeah, basically, I wear sunglasses for the same reason everyone else does.
Looks cool.
Right.
Visionless Dave says, "Do you know Ted Sarandos' address?"
I don't.
Visionless Dave also asks, "Are the rumors true?"
Is there more to that?
Nope.
Oh, yes, they are.
I didn't know if there was something I missed.
Yes, they are. They're very true.
How would your mid-year grade and overall evaluation of Craig thus far for 2022? And has he used some of his Mittman money for any additions on his large property / estate yet?
I mean, it must be gone based on what I saw. There was some extravagant spending going on.
Some of it was there. The things that we will not talk about that desperately want to be spoken about.
My God.
It was the first thing. As soon as you got out of my car, I'm like, I know you want to make fun of this. And I get it.
It is quite the extravagant property. Grade I would give Craig halfway through the year. A little more than halfway now.
Yeah.
I'd say B-.
Oh, that's so low.
What?
Mm,
I was
It's
being
so-
generous.
that's so low.
That's good.
B minus, boring minus. I see what you're doing.
Yes, that's what I meant. I think that's good. Not blowing the doors off, but you're better than average.
I think I'm better than almost all, actually.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I would say. Here's what an A would be.
Yep.
And you've got a lot of jobs. I'm not blaming you for this,
Mhm.
but an A would be like someone who's spitting out ideas and coming up with new things all the time. That's an A. So you got to have room. There's room to improve. Is all I'm saying.
I can spit out ideas. I just thought you like doing what you like to do. So I just go with whatever you tell me.
All right, I appreciate that as well.
I'll bring ideas. I'll get the show on a fucking network before you even know it, bud.
Well, let me sign off on that first.
Yeah. And my Mittman money that I've had is just nope.
Mittman money.
I
I think it's Bruce's face on there.
Mitt bucks. Oh, this is a good question. From Angelo. Has Alba's parents brought up the fishing/boat?
I saw that one. You know what's funny is I think about that every time I see that.
Today is the day.
No, they've never brought it up, but here's what's bad about that. Alba has told me that they are Albanians in general bottle everything up, much like the Irish, I suppose. They bottle it deep down and they die with it. So it's possible that he's thinking about that fishing trip every time I'm there and just thinking, this motherfucker's not going to invite me again.
Have you ever found yourself going, why is he sweating? He's just
Why is he pretending to cast a line? What the hell is that?
Why is he throwing an invisible anchor off his back foot?
He's always got one of those bucket hats on and a vest with bait in it.
Yeah. If there I get it. If there aren't enough competitors, will you be entering Justin's vehicle?
No. I would. I want to allow the competition to be fair. You know.
Yeah. Jared asks, would Mike dominate in a staring contest?
No, quite the opposite. I can't.
That was going to be my answer. It was no.
Yeah, I don't know if this is well, I mean, obviously the eyes wouldn't match up to where you would probably want them to be. But the other thing is this might be more just my personality, like I have nothing to do with my disability, but like I can't make eye contact with people for that long. It's just uncomfortable for me. So no, I'd be horrible in a staring contest.
Chef Lewis says, great job sparring with Kirk the other day about Louis C.K. Have you ever wanted to say that if you could pull out a phone to prove your point, you would have the advantage, or you not want to play the blind card?
Oh, I mean, I kind of already answered that. I don't think there's anything I would bring up that Kirk's very good at arguing. So I don't know if I could point to an article where he would just go, well, you know what? You won me over. You win.
He also says, would you like Craig to disagree with you more? I don't get those questions.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, people said that about, yesterday's show. Like, oh, you finally disagreed with... But there aren't really a lot of moments... Like, the reason I was a fan of Kirk's show is I was like, oh, I like a lot of what this guy stands for, what he chooses to talk about, everything. Like, I was a fan. So, naturally, there's a lot I kind of agree with him on, Yeah,
I mean, I think the reason I'm doing this because I went, hey... I can record shows and we like basically everything.
Yeah, so yeah, Craig has similar interests to me. I mean, if Craig genuinely disagreed with something I said, he should voice it. But
I will. I mean, listen earlier. I disagree.
I will say he's never given me the Gerry treatment. He bullies that guy around. Jesus.
You usually say it tongue in cheek. He was flipping out, and I was like, nope, not going to take that.
He pushes limp dick Callahan around like a little bitch boy. My God.
Box eating dad says, what do you think of your odds if you had to go if you had to go toe to toe with the propaganda?
That's a VGS reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
I realized
Box eating dad is disappointed. I thought he liked us. He's not turning on me, is he? You're turning fans of this program against me?
No, quite the opposite. I'm making sure they stay.
Keep them in line.
like, everyone relax.
Keep your men in line.
Yeah, I got a heads up that you trashed me on the solo show, and then I listened. And I went, "That's ball busting to me, buddy."
Yeah, I didn't think it was a trash.
I didn't either. Tim, like I said, Tim was trashed, but
I don't know about that.
I think
We're
so.
good pals now, Tim and I. Tom was trashed, as I said.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. Tim is a different guy. You also put this on Twitter, right?
I did.
I'll comb through that real quick, see if there's anything worth reading.
All right. Well, everyone, I appreciate you supporting the show. Like I said, if you want to support more, go to blindmike.net. And you can subscribe to the Patreon there. Or, as I always say, evidently, they tell me 5-star reviews and subscribing on YouTube and liking and commenting, all that helps the algorithm. So if you want to do that, that would be a help as well.
By the way, you need to fix something with your Twitter because now every time you tweet, it has a AMA thing on it.
Oh, it's done. Oh, I forgot about that.
I
don't like that stupid. It's a dumb feature.
Pick only one: Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy. That's from Bobby Fitz. Better answer. He's gonna like cut you.
Ooh, interesting. Why does he have to threaten me?
He's a threatening guy. He threatens a lot of people.
Why? I'll answer it. What does he think? I'm afraid?
Oh no, I added that. He did not.
Oh, okay, all right. Jesus.
I think that one's pretty easy for me.
I'd say without Richard Pryor, you don't get Eddie Murphy.
That's probable.
So I would say Richard Pryor, but
Well,
I think without Richard Pryor, you probably don't get Chris Rock either, because I don't think they're direct.
Well, if you
descendants, but I think Rock is he's a product of Eddie Murphy. I think
if you go in with, if you take one away, it impacts. It's like butterfly effect. I'm obviously going to pick Richard Pryor, but if I'm going to listen to someone, I'm going with Eddie Murphy.
I might agree with that. Yeah, if you could only listen to one, I might go with Eddie.
He makes me
just because it's a little more modern. Although Richard Pryor has some funny shit.
Lieutenant Kirk asks, "Do you think comedians should face harsh repercussions for offensive material?"
I don't, as a matter of fact.
I don't either.
That's funny.
After the popularity, this is from Red. After the popularity of Barstool's game shows this summer, do you regret how critical you were of Tommy Smokes?
That's a good question. I do. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was wrong. He's not a boring guy. I mean, him and Chris are very fun together.
Yeah,
it was cute when they shared a seat.
Lauren Lynn asks, this is a great question. I think this is a great question. Which game is worse, Texas Poop Hold'em or Count to 25 in the car?
The people are good today. I think Count to 25. Although, you know what? Dave proved me. I'll give Dave credit. He proved me wrong because he bested me at the game.
I was talking to him. That's the dumbest game I've ever heard in my life.
It's a psychotic game, frankly, but he did outdo me. So by beating me, he kind of proved to me it is a game.
Yeah, but I think at least Texas Poop Hold'em, there's a possibility of someone shitting themselves.
There isn't really, though.
If
you got to that point where you were about to shit yourself, you just go to the bathroom.
What if you guys happen to be in the same room and you're like, oh, you got to have stakes. Neither game has stake. They're both terrible games.
Yeah.
Robinson's B&B wants to know, when are you proposing to Alba?
Relax, ladies. I don't know. We've been together almost not quite 4 years. I think 5 is probably a good number.
Go off field, buddy. Not time.
Oh, well, then it would already be done. But, I'd like to prolong it a little more.
Mike do you believe Louis C.K. was a nonviolent predator? You weren't really
clear.
You weren't really clear about that today.
That was Mike from Providence?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch. I thought he was a friend of mine.
I don't get why did Steven do it?
Steven who?
I don't know. That's the question.
You don't have to read all of them.
Well, some of these I'm like, did I miss something that he'll understand it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who Steven is.
Which comedians could you beat up?
The first one that came to mind was Jamie Kilstein, but I forgot he does MMA.
No, he'd beat you up, but
he'd beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, you'd probably get Chris Gethard pretty good though, I think.
Oh, that's a good one. Chris Chris Gethard. Lenny Marcus.
He doesn't like to be called certain words that begin with certain letters that are bad. So you
I feel like I don't know how big a guy Dan Natterman is, but I feel like you could beat him up. Todd Barry, maybe.
Joe List, maybe.
No, Joe List trains as well, and he's a tall guy.
Oh, okay. Well, the height doesn't really matter.
It does a little bit,
I mean, if you can't physically reach his face, maybe, but
I guess.
think of how easy it would be to get under his chin.
That's true. He doesn't have much of a chin either.
Yeah, I got to get you in my uncle's basement, dude. Hit the my uncle who trains in his basement. He trains
okay.
boxing.
That's probably necessary for the setup.
Yeah.
I have to get you in my uncle's basement.
Oh, no, when I did KMS, we were talking about it.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I was in for the Hank Kirk Rough and Rowdy, and I was telling Kirk I could have my uncle can train him in a basement.
Oh, yeah, that sounds vaguely. I do kind of remember that.
Ever consider switching to the left side of the bed?
I've not.
I'm a left side.
We have a nightstand on my side of the bed, and the closet is to the left, so I don't care for that.
I have 2 nightstands on either side.
Wow, this guy's
Mittman bucks.
Mittman bucks. My God.
When you're going back to all 3 days on the show, they can bring in whatever dingleberry they want, but it's better when you are there.
Next question. Dingleberry.
Are we ever getting a Nothing But Trouble watch along?
What's Nothing But Trouble?
I don't know. I thought that was another one that I missed.
Oh, let's look that up. Nothing But Trouble. That sounds like it could be up our alley.
Nothing. It does sound nothing but trouble. Is it a show or a movie though?
I don't know.
Oh, 1991 film. Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, John Candy, Demi Moore.
Oh, I've heard about this, I think. What's the premise?
Geez, overview. I'll go with that.
I feel like Stern might have made fun of Chevy Chase for this one.
While attempting to seduce a gorgeous lawyer, wealthy gadabout agrees to drive her to Atlantic City, but when some reckless driving draws the attention of a deeply critical cop, the flamboyant Brazilianaires. The fuck?
Brazilianaires?
Yep. That's what it
Are
says.
you sure it's not Bazillionaires?
Brazil. Brazilianaires.
Huh. Interesting.
Tagged along to end up in court, the court of grotesque and vengeful judge who has a special vendetta against the wealthy and erudite.
Well, thank you, sir. Maybe we'll give that a watch at some point. GlenMc.net.
That doesn't make anything clearer.
No, it doesn't. But it's I once you read the cast, I was like, I think I might have heard about this.
Thoughts on the infamous East Longmeadow traffic rotary?
Oh, it's what we're known for. One of the worst rotaries in the world. Which I, as a non-driver, never really understood. I guess just because there's a lot of. So I think it's. Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe roads intersecting.
In one rotary? That's brutal.
Yeah, but the way they do it is not just like a circle that you drive around. Like there's zigzags and fucking crosses that don't make any sense.
Did you start The Shield yet from Andy Mayo?
Not yet.
I've heard, like, from everyone I know that show's amazing.
I've heard the same thing. I guess for some reason I always get hung up on. I'm like, it would be dated now. For some reason I always think of that, but probably not. I'm sure I could still watch it and enjoy it.
Dino Raja says, "Is there an issue if I only have liquid shits?" Probably.
I would think so. Yeah,
that's probably. Is Dick Gregory a proto Jon Stewart who evolved over time from primarily a comedian to an activist first?
That might be a good one. I saw that tweet. That might be a good one that I was, because I mentioned on KMS yesterday. I was like, is there someone that became like kind of abandoned comedy and became like an activist? Dick Gregory might be a good one. I don't know enough about him to answer that, but maybe we'll do a Why You Laughing about him.
This is a funny question. What's your 97th favorite movie from the 90s?
The people we're on today. I like this. Maybe I gotta start tweeting these at night more than instead of in the morning.
Yeah. With Barstool coming back to Boston, will you consider becoming a certified employee again?
No.
Is Craig gone?
I would hate that so much more, being in the office with fucking Portnoy, and that would not be an incentive for me to to do that.
From what it sounds like, he would never be there.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, but I'm upset. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Is Craig gone?
He's right here.
Hey, bud. Why was it? This is the last question. Why was yesterday's KMS the day you decided to stand up for yourself?
Very passionate about that topic.
I mean, yeah, I'm still. I mean, I have to go back and re-listen because I'm like, what sparked the yelling?
It ramped up quickly. I don't know why.
That's what I'm saying. All of a sudden, it was just a screaming match.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Hopefully, it was entertaining, which it seemed like people seem to enjoy it.
It was.
All right.
Tonight,
Oh, wait, what?
well, I guess is last Wednesday just today Justin's car day?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'll probably pop over there later. I meant to mention you could catch me all over the place the last week. I should have mentioned this at the top of the show, but I was on with our boy Royce Lopez on his show Daywave.
Yep.
Which that was fun. I mentioned it in the solo show I did, but it's funny because we doing our Quincy watch along and shit like that. It's funny to be on a show where he just, with no segue, he goes, "You ever seen the show Blind Date from the early 2000s?" I was like, "I think so." And he's like, "Here's a clip from that." And he just starts showing it to me. And I was like, "Oh, I'm home." There's others like us.
Perfect. We start a giant network.
So I was on there, and I was also on the Creep Off with, it's usually hosted by Carl and Vinny, both former Why You Laughing guests. But it was just me and Carl. I was filling in. I was standing in for the vacationing Vinny Paulino on the Creep Off, and that was fun as well. So check those out if you have the time.
Do it. Do it.
Like I said, verygoodshow.org. That's where you can find Craig's stuff. Blindmike.net is where you can find mine, the Patreon, all the links, merchandise. And I guess that's it. Anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. See you, folks.
Until then, have yourself a great day, and as always,